Today is the 28th of September, and it's nearly 6 o'clock in the evening. And I just realized, after having this device for years, that because I always turn it on at the side and then press the record button, but today I realized if you just hold down the record button, the whole thing switches on. You don't need to turn it on at the side. Live and learn. Anyway, like I kind of said before, I'm trying to compartmentalize things because there always seems to be something on the horizon. And of course, at the moment I've got quite big things for me kind of scary things slightly. The idea of having my front tooth taken out to have it maybe to have an implant is quite disturbing for me. Just imagining myself sitting there in the dentist pulling on this tooth. And then I have more injections in my eye, which is, like I said, I think on maybe the first recording here, it's just not something you ever get used to. And it is fucking uncomfortable. Let's be honest with it for that second. Tuco, stop. We're miles away. Anyway, today is Sunday. Flo was away since yesterday with Christian, her yoga teacher, doing some whatever they do. But she'll be back today. She'll be back this evening. And yesterday I had a kind of nice, kind of relaxing evening. And I had some of my alcohol kind of free, kind of Corona beers. A 6-pack. And anyway, I was kind of thinking it's funny that I had a very quiet evening. I really spent most of the day playing Anno, and I did some shopping, and then I walked Tuco in the evening, but I just walked to the end of the path, and there was a couple of Chinese guys at the tree, so I didn't even bother going on. And that was it. And I had my 6 little beers, you know. And, you get that slight relaxed. I was thinking today, that's the most I could say. I was relaxed, psychologically relaxed, and able to compartmentalize things. That seems to be my word of choice at the moment. So I could think, well, this evening I'm going to cook my mince, I'm going to do Anno, and that's all I'm looking forward to, and I'm very focused on that, and my mind is not going to the future, you know. So I ended up having a nice evening. Ale Tuco, let's go a little bit more. But then this morning when I woke up, and I did go to sleep quite early. I mean, it was really like a normal. I played the Anno, finished the beers, and then I had some mince and potatoes, maybe a bit late. Although I don't think it was. I think I was in bed at around 9:30 or so and slept. Played chess, then slept, maybe at midnight. But in spite of that kind of very uneventful little session, I still was really quite bad today. That sense of dread came over me from the beginning. of the day, and a certain slight nauseousness and a lack of appetite. It's such a high price for a small payoff, you know. You'd think, well, you think I'd been partying all night or something. So I kind of realized it doesn't matter. It's worth thinking about as well. It doesn't matter. What's up with you, little fella? Do you want to go back or what? What do you want to do? Want to go this way? It doesn't matter how much you drink and how steady the effect is. It doesn't matter if there's absolutely not really any effect. Two guys getting more and more lazy, and unfortunately, because of my nervous disposition, I'm always inclined to follow his lead if he stops, turns around and says, I want to go back, because I really just wanted to poo. I mean, it's a lovely evening, it's cloudy, but it's mild, and we could go for a long walk, but I saw a car somewhere, and even though if I crossed straight over to where I used to have the trail cams and stuff to the river, I'm sure I wouldn't see anyone. Just over there. But hey, I'm all for going back to the safety of the couch. So yeah, I managed to eat stuff, which is good. I managed to get my appetite, and I had a boiled egg and I had cheese Emmental with toast, and then later on I had 3 slices of bacon and a fried egg with toast. So it's good to eat to try and get yourself back to normal, you know. But I'm just quite shocked by how such a mild kind of evening can have that kind of a effect the next day, you know. You'd seriously think I mixed wine and beer and whiskey, you know, even though it was nothing. I had been listening to a guy called Neville Goddard, and he thinks that the imagination is what the Bible is all about, and that we're capable of bringing our own kind of reality into existence. It's kind of a lovely idea, but at the same time, the idea that if I simply believe I have gained something sounds a little absurd. You know, all you have to do is kind of act like you have achieved whatever it is you're looking for, and you will. Especially if you're someone like me and you don't really know what it is that you're looking for, except a certain stability. But last Sunday, I was lying in bed and I was thinking of it. I talked about all this in the last recording here. And what I did do is manage to change my feeling state. And that's why I find his words so interesting. Because it kind of ties in with when I was drinking way back, when I wrote, why couldn't I feel like this, you know, every day? And it is that thing of being able to transmute those anxious, fearful, uncomfortable states. And just even, it takes an awful lot of something. I don't know why, it's not exactly willpower, but it takes some kind of an energy to don't want to use the word trick yourself into feeling all happy and positive, because it's not really a trick as such, and there isn't any reason why you couldn't feel all positive, confident, and let the world alone, and simply not think about these things that are coming, so that they're not on your mind every other day. That's my problem. They're there on my mind, and if they're not completely, very clear, stop, Tuco, let me put your lead on, then stop. If I'm not actually imagining the conversation I need to have with doctors and dentists, there's a sense that this stuff it's just outside the conscious range, but it's there bothering me. And if I could have a better disposition and be more, because this is what got me going last Sunday, because after listening to him talking about feelings, I really felt like I was achieving something. I was trying to feel like in that dream from Narbonne, where you're kind of playing along and you're doing lip service, but you're just kind of acting your way through the whole game of life, and none of it is important to you anymore. You just pretend it is, and whatever people think or say about you and whatever happens is unimportant. And obviously you still don't like going to dentists and stuff, but you are able to use super positivity to narrow down that moment to exactly what it should be. It's moment. It's not something that you think about and go to bed thinking about and wake up thinking about. It's something you genuinely forget about, so that it's relegated to those few, which is literally what it's going to be with, the eye thing is literally over, and I'd say it's over in about 20 seconds tops, And the tooth thing, well, I don't know how that's going to go, and so I shouldn't really be coming up with imaginations about it. And when it comes to everything else, looking for a job, flow, I'll let you go. My age, all those things you just, no, Tuco, where are you going? I'm not going that way. You just kind of, you play along like you're in a kind of mildly comic movie, and you develop a great style about yourself, and people start to notice your confidence and your optimism, and you don't tell them why, but they do notice. They say, you always seem to be in good form. And you are in good form. That's the thing. For me at my age, this is the thing that inspires me. It's to really not take it seriously. I can't use those words when I'm saying this to Flo, because I think it's kind of part of the French culture and stuff, that things are to be taken seriously. It's not the right language for some people, because it comes across as, well, I'm not going to give a shit anymore, which is actually the fact. That's the way to be. You can make all the effort you want and try and get all the jobs you want and go to the interviews and even take the job and work, but it's an attitude to have. Anyway, it's like 15 minutes is all that walk took. They're very lazy walks, look, honestly. When Flo brings you for a walk, she's nearly an hour. Anyway, adios.